In the remote coastal village of Gull's Cove, nestled between rugged cliffs and a seemingly infinite expanse of cerulean sea, lived an old fisherman named Samuel. For as long as anyone could remember, Samuel had been an indelible part of the village, his life interwoven with the ebb and flow of the tide. Once, in his prime, Samuel had been celebrated as the village's greatest fisherman. Tales of his daring voyages and miraculous catches had spread far and wide, and his presence alone could bring hope to the hearts of fellow villagers. Yet, as the years coursed through him, so too did the tides of fortune. His luck dwindled, and the sea, once his steadfast friend, grew capricious and unforgiving. It all began with a terrible storm that claimed not only his cherished boat, the mariner's pride, but also his beloved wife, Eleanor. She had succumbed to illness, her last breath drawn on a night when the tempestuous waves outside seemed to mirror the turbulence within Samuel's heart. The grief that settled in his soul was like an anchor, dragging him deeper into a sea of solitude. Now, Samuel spent his days on the weathered wooden bench overlooking the harbor. His eyes, once sharp and keen, now bore the weight of countless horizons and unfulfilled dreams. His hands, once robust and calloused, had grown feeble, incapable of wielding a fishing net or hauling in a heavy catch. The village that had once revered him now pitied him. The younger fishermen, who had once been his apprentices, watched in silent sorrow as Samuel prepared to embark on what would inevitably be another fruitless voyage. His boat, a pitiful shadow of the mariner's pride, creaked and groaned as it was pushed into the unforgiving waves. As Samuel rowed further and further from shore, the villagers stood upon the cliffs, their faces etched with worry. The sun, pale and distant, cast long shadows over the sea, mirroring the depths of Samuel's despair. The hours stretched into an agonizing eternity, and the villagers' anxious gazes remained fixed upon the horizon. When the sun finally dipped below the edge of the world, the villagers gathered around their dwindling fires, their faces illuminated by flickering flames, yet their hearts heavy with dread. Samuel had not returned, and his absence weighed upon the village like a storm cloud. The night was filled with anxious prayers and whispered conversations, but no answers came. With the arrival of dawn, a small group of fishermen set out to search for Samuel. Their boats sliced through the waves, each passing minute thick with tension. The sea, once a source of sustenance and livelihood, now seemed like a malevolent force conspiring against them. As they rowed further and further from the shore, their hopes waned like the waning moon above. The air was heavy with uncertainty, and the sun's feeble rays barely penetrated the thick blanket of fog that clung to the water surface. The search party's hearts hammered in their chests as they scanned the expanse of the relentless sea. Finally, a cry rang out from the bow of one of the search boats. They had spotted something bobbing on the distant horizon. It was Samuel's rowboat, adrift and empty. The villagers' hearts sank as they pulled the boat ashore. They combed the coastline, but Samuel was nowhere to be found. The village mourned the loss of their beloved old fisherman, a man who had been part of their lives for longer than anyone could remember. In the quiet moments, they shared stories of his glory days, the tales of the great catches, the daring adventures, and the evenings he spent by the fire regaling them with his mesmerizing stories. The sea, once Samuel's adversary, became a haunting reminder of the man they had lost. Its vastness echoed with the silence of his absence, and its depths concealed the secrets of his final voyage. Yet the village, bound together by the memory of Samuel, continued to thrive. Years passed, and Samuel's memory lived on in the village. His legacy was a living testament to the indomitable spirit of the fishermen who still cast their nets into the same sea that had claimed him. They found solace in their shared grief, knowing that Samuel had returned to the sea he cherished so dearly, finding peace at last in its fathomless depths. And so, the village endured, and Samuel's name became a part of the very fabric of Gulls Cove. The sadness of his absence remained, but it was tempered by the knowledge that he had found his final solace in the embrace of the sea, an eternal, silent drift into the heart of the ocean he had loved so deeply. The tension of his disappearance lingered like a haunting melody, a reminder of the mysteries that still lay hidden beneath the waves.